I am being haunted by the spirit of a Zimbabwean woman that used to work for me. She was my maid. I don't know, and I don't think that it is fair that her relatives have gone to her grave, and I was told that they put a knife on her grave. There are times when I see a knife in my car, that very same knife that I was told that it is on her grave, and I don't have any access to go to Zim and I can go and remove this knife that is on top of my late Zimbabwean maid's grave. She passed away because of me. Yo, guys, I don't even know where to start. My life, it is a complete mess right now. I am even thinking about just ending my life, but when I look at my children, I say, but God, if I die, then what is going to happen to my children? To sleep, it is a luxury that I can't even afford. If I tell you that I have not even slept properly in months right now, you might think that this woman, she is just claiming. I have not slept properly in months. I am a 37-year-old South African woman who is living in Sandton in Johannesburg. I work a very senior government management type job. I am married and I have three beautiful kids. From the outside, if you look at my life, you think that I and my husband, we have it all together. You think that, wow, this lady is living the dream. My husband, if I were to list the number of women that he has slept with, you say that, why are you still with him? He was my first one. And I made a vow to myself after I had slept with my husband, and I said, this man and only this man until I die. I have fought with so many women, but the women that I had fought with before, they were not involved in any kind of rituals using muti. We started to fight from the day when I was still at university, fighting over my men with other women. My husband disrespected me by sleeping with my own cousin. To this very day, we don't even see each other because of what happened. When we got married, Bronash, we then got a maid. She was a maid that was from Lesotho, and I caught my husband on top of that woman. I forgave my husband. The lady begged for my forgiveness. Hey, when I forgave them, it was like I had given them a passport to sleep with each other in my house. One day, I came back from work. I am extremely tired. I found them clothing, woman on top in my house on the couch. Like it was the most painful thing that had ever happened ever since I had started dating him. But still, I forgave him. And a friend of mine gave me an idea, and she said, look for someone that comes from Zim. You are going to enjoy your marriage. Look for someone that is not even beautiful. The one that you can say, this one, your husband will never sleep with that kind of a woman. I was wrong. Men, they will surprise you, and they will surprise you big time. So we are living in Sandton, me and my husband. And then my husband, after the Lesotho drama, I tried to stay without a maid. I even did all that a maid is supposed to do. When I would be at home, I would clean, do my laundry, ironing, making sure that there is no other woman in my house, because even my own female relatives, to trust them with my husband, it is like climbing a big mountain with him. So I just wanted me and my husband and our kids. The only woman that I could trust around my husband was my mother. So then I said, the work that I do, it is being affected. Rather, let me look for a maid. I will follow the instructions of my friend who said, if you look for a maid that comes from Zim, who is not so beautiful, if you choose very well, she must not be attractive in any kind of a way, you are going to start enjoying your marriage. Then I got someone, and when I looked at him, she immediately passed the exam. And I got that woman, she started to work for me as a maid. Because of my government job, I have to travel quite a lot. I am always on the road. Cape Town today, Pretoria, a conference in Durban, maybe an international trip here and there, you name it. My husband also work long hours. Because of our busy lives, we needed someone for my husband to wait until I come back, and then I do the laundry when I am at home. It was not going to work at all. That was when I decided to bring in that Zimbabwean woman into our lives to be our maid. We were staying with him. She was quiet, and the mistake that I did was to have a live in maid who was essentially staying with my husband when I was not at home. At first, I thought that she was a total blessing. My house, it was always clean. The kids, they loved her cooking because they were surviving on takeaways, which is not healthy at all. So I could travel for my work trips with a peaceful mind, knowing that my home was being taken good care of. Then slowly, things started to change. Whenever I came back from my trips, I started noticing that there was a weird vibe going in my house. My husband was not so much affectionate with me, no longer loving, always rude. He would not even look at me twice. If I tried to sit close to him on the couch, he would make an excuse to go to another room. He became distant. He was always moody, defended the maid whenever I questioned the maid over things around the house. At first, I thought maybe it was me who was always snooping around my husband, but my instinct, they had never lied to me before, even about my cousin sister. When I told my husband that there is something that is happening between you and him, he refused, but I told my husband that my instincts, they do not lie. I just had that feeling that there is something that was wrong in my marriage. The shock of my life came when I came back from a 2 week conference that happened in Bumalanga. I noticed that the maid was wearing very loose clothes. She looked like she was exhausted, and then she started throwing up in the bathroom. I confronted her in the kitchen and I said, "Are you pregnant?" She told me that yes, she was pregnant. I asked, oh, who the father was, and she stayed silent. I went to my bedroom. I pulled my husband by his shirt. He was on the laptop working. I said, "Do you know anything about this pregnancy?" Then my husband, he confessed and he told me that he had been sleeping with our Zimbabwean maid whilst I was away. And to make matters worse, she was carrying his child. I felt like the whole world had exploded. This is what my husband had chosen to do with a woman that I had never expected that he'll end up doing with. And I wanted to pack my bags to leave. I was so angry. I was hurt, embarrassed. Imagine that my family members, my cousin was going to find out that this is what had happened. She was going to laugh at me until the cows come back home crying. I called my mother, and when I called my mother immediately came to Sandton. When I told her, she was angry. She said, "I want this maid to be gone." We then went to a sangoma. I had already fired this maid. When we went to the sangoma, because my mom, she said that it was impossible that my husband, a son-in-law, could do something like this sober minded. So when we went to the sangoma that my mother knew, the sangoma then said that the maid was the one that had been putting love charms into the food that she prepared for my husband every day, which made my husband to fall for him even though she was not her type. This made me to be more angry. when I heard about this, that my husband was obsessed and was completely blinded by the love charms that she had been using on my husband. The Sangoma then made me and my mother an offer, and he said, we can do a very powerful go back to sender ritual, whatever dark magic that she used on your husband to trap the family, it will turn around to destroy her instead. It will free your husband's mind completely, but the spell, it is going to be very powerful. At that moment, I did not care about the consequences. I just wanted to this anger, the jealousy, and I wanted revenge. The girl had been sleeping with my husband. I had been paying her to pay him to sleep with my husband until she was impregnated. So we did the go back to sender even right there and there. This made I kicked her out with my mom, and she did not even get the chance to collect any personal belongings that belonged to him, for I threatened to get her deported back to her country. This ritual, it worked. Within a couple of days, the maid, we heard that she was sick, and then she was taken to the government hospital, and then she died. When she died, I even wanted to thank the nurses that had been taking care of her if it had ever happened that they had mistreated her. That is how much bitterness that I had in my heart. After she had passed away, then my husband told me that we could not keep the clothes that belonged to that woman in our house. The family contacted us, and then they came. Those that stayed in Joburg, they came. We allowed them to come and collect the personal belongings from our house. They went to their country, and I did not even care, for I said that she was the one who started by using the charms, and I did not know that they were going to do any kind of a go back to send her back to me. When they went to their country, they said that they consulted according to their culture before they had buried that woman. So the burial, it happened, they buried their deceased, and they were told that she did not die of a natural disease, but it was because of a go back to sender. Life continued as normal. Then I started to hear, like I was having hallucinations. I would hear someone knocking. Even when we were at a hotel, I would hear someone knocking on the door. When I would wake up, I would not see anyone. Then one night, I went to make coffee in the kitchen. I saw an apron that was lying on the floor. When I had finished preparing my coffee, returning back to bed, when I turned around, I wanted to pick up that pink apron that the maid used to wear. I had even bought it for her. I did not see it. It was really shocking. I looked around and I saw it again on the floor. And when I was walking away, I then saw it on the kitchen counter. It was something that scared me. I rushed back to bed. When I was climbing the stairs, going to my bedroom, I felt like there was someone that was walking behind me. Things got worse. One evening, I was driving home from a meeting that happened in Pretoria. So I'm driving down from Pretoria coming to Joburg. When I was driving, I wanted to switch lanes. Guys, I nearly crashed my car into the barricade because I saw on my back seat my maid. She was there. She was sitting and she was crying. She started by holding her face. She was covering her face, and then she looked at me. It happened so quick. And when I looked at her, I did not see her eyes, but yet she was crying, real tears of blood. I screamed, nearly crashed into the barricade. The next morning, surprisingly, when I looked on my back seat, I saw that there was a little bit of blood that had stained the place where she had been sitting, because she was sitting in the middle of the back seat. It was so scary. Ever since that night, this ghost, it is always visiting me. Normally, what happens when I see a spirit? When I go to bed, does not matter how many blankets I will put on top, I will feel so much cold, as well as feeling that there is someone that is blowing my feet, and my feet, they'll start to freeze. Once it happens, I know that at night I am going to see a ghost. Because I could not handle this anymore, having dreams where she would be pointing at me, then I thought that what is happening here? I'm losing my mind. I would eat and I would vomit. And my work, it was suffering, always sick with minor illnesses. I could not tell my husband immediately. I went to my mother. My mother said, let us go to the Sangoma. The Sangoma did not have a clear solution. I finally came clean to my husband. I confessed everything. I told my husband how much pain he had caused me by impregnating that Zimbabwean woman. And me and my mother, we visited the Sangoma. We did a go back to send a ritual after I had discovered that the woman had been using charms to bewitch my own husband. My husband was shocked about what I had done. And he said, okay, let us keep it as a secret, but let us fix this thing spiritually. We need to contact her family in Zimbabwe to apologize for what happened and ask how we can make peace between our families before something bad happens to you, my wife. We then contacted this other woman who was said to be the cousin of this lady. We went to her, we collected her, and returned with her back to Sandton. We spoke, and that lady said that already they knew about it and they had been told by their Zimbabwean Sangoma that this was going to happen. So when we spoke, she said that she was going to speak with her brothers. This conversation, it was a phone conversation. I did not sit with the whole family. When we had a WhatsApp call conversation, the relatives that are in Zim, they said that they took the soil. How? I don't know. When they came to my house, they stole soil from my house when they were taking the clothes and the fridges, the TVs that belonged to their late relative. And when they were burying her, they put the soil, some of it, they put it inside of the coffin. Some of it, they put it inside a bottle on top of the grave. And then after they had closed up the grave with soil, then they stabbed the grave with a knife. This lady, she was killed by a knife. The go back to sender went to him and it stabbed her throat and she started to become ill. That is what happened in the spirit. So they were told to buy a knife, and that knife is going to kill me if I am not careful. That is what I was told by those people on the phone conversation. So they said that in order for me to be okay, they need to reverse their own form of a go back to sender, because they spoke with a dead body and they commanded a spirit and they said, go back to that house, to that woman in Sandton, fight the person who use muti to kill you and your unborn baby. Do not rest until those people are destroyed. So we said, so we were talking, and I said, what do you want from me? And one of the uncle has given me, my husband, and my mother this condition. They're saying that they want me to pay them 1 million cash. I said, I don't have that money. And they said, in Sandton, people with money are there. Sell your house. They want 1 million rand, just like that. Guys, as I am writing this, I am filled with anger. I want to ask a question, an honest question. People who read your confessions, is this even fair? The girl came into my house. I paid her a good salary every single month. She went behind my back. She was using her muti to sleep with my husband in my own house. Got pregnant. She wanted to destroy my marriage, to steal my husband. And she is the one who used charms first. All that I did was to defend my marriage using a go back to sender. How am I the bad guy here when I am the one that was wronged in the first place? Why are they demanding money from me? They just want this money. They think that because I work in the government, I have a lot of money. So I spoke with my mom and then we returned back to the Sangoma. And it has given me a lot of confusion right now. We told the Sangoma about the 1 million that this Zimbabwean family wants, and that Sangoma said, "Ngeke, we are not going to give them a single cent. They are taking advantage. We would rather use a portion of that money. I have a connection with a witch doctor in Mozambique. We can travel to Mozambique and we can do a counter, go back to sender." Now I don't know. My head is confused. I want to pay, but it is a lot, guys. 1 million just to give to people who wronged you, it is a lot. What if I give them the money, then it does not stop the ghost, like what the Sangoma said? Should I go to Mozambique? I am afraid. What if it backfires, it kills someone in that family, and then I'm being chased by two members of the same family? Yes, I'm so tired, guys. I am really tired. I now have a problem of high blood pressure. I can even see my hands right now. They are swollen. I'm scared. I don't know if I have kidneys or if it is just high blood pressure. Even my feet, they can be swollen for no reason. When I go to sleep, I take a continental pillow, and when I sleep, I put my legs on top of that pillow so that my legs don't get swollen when I am fast asleep. What should I do? Should I pay this money or go to Mozambique and hear what the doctor is going to say? Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear sister. It is just that you are in South Africa, but according to the culture in Zim, whether Ndebele or Oshona culture, if you have done such a thing, the matter is not handled like that. It goes through the chief, the village chief, and you do not pay 1 million. You negotiate in front of the chief, and usually it is brought down to a number of cows. Maybe it might be 12 cows. There is a number of cows that the government gazetted that is allowed if there is a spirit that is troubling you, and it is not supposed to exceed that number. So maybe if you show them that you can go on the internet and you can search what does the Zimbabwean government say in terms of the Ngozi spirit. If there is a Ngozi spirit that is haunting you, what does the government of Zimbabwe say? There is what you are supposed to follow. They can even get arrested for demanding so much money. You are supposed to pay that money in not cash. It is supposed to be cows, and it's supposed to be there is supposed to be a record of that, because if you pay cash, the Sangoma that you consulted is saying the truth. They will make you pay, but the problem is not going to go away. You will pay for nothing. So tell them that that you are not supposed to pay in cash, but as a family you can negotiate, and then they will tell you how much the cows cost. Usually maybe it is 300 US dollars or 400 US dollars, which is around let's say maybe 7,000 rands per head of cow. And according to the government, I don't know how much you are supposed to pay, and that is the money that you are supposed to pay, not a million, not a million. And the chief will have to judge, since he also used charms on on your husband. In front of the chief, they can even make a spirit to talk. in front of the village chief, and they can also judge her for her actions, and the cows will be reduced accordingly. So negotiate and speak with them, and you can come back and give us an update.